if you want to check out what my favorites have been for the month of June, as well as some always standout favorites that last no matter the season, then please keep on watching. Hello my friends, if this is your first time here, thank you so much for clicking. My name is Alicia and Kinky Sweat stands for my kinky hair and sweat life. I'm a fitness professional who loves beauty, and today I will present to you my favorites for June, makeup items for this video, as I would like to film a separate video for skincare. That one's gonna be hefty because I've been watching a lot of skincare YouTube channels, and man, my mind has been changed with a couple of things, but we'll talk about that in another video. In my favorites video going forward, as I am trying to buy less new things, I also want to take the opportunity while filming a favorites video to maybe show you favorites that I've just been constantly using in my makeup routine that maybe I mentioned in a haul video or another favorites video, and you might be wondering, how's that going? Are you still using those products? Do you still like them? We want to know. Today, let's start off with foundation because, you know, complexion, why not? I am very happy to show my standout favorite that has been my standout choice for best foundation of 2018 is the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation in the shade Cinnamon. I have this on my face today. I applied it with my Sigma sponge. I only apply one pump because I rely on this foundation primarily to just give me overall evened out coverage. And then I go in with what's my other favorite is my Too Faced multi-use concealer Born This Way in the shade Warm Sand. I just love the fact how beautifully this concealer melts in with the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop. It does not look textured and it just blurs out my hyperpigmentation effortlessly. Now, the reason why I mentioned this foundation is because it has been hecka humid in here in NYC, and the way the foundation dries down to this soft matte finish is just ideal for these conditions. It's not overly dry, it's not overly dewy either. In fact, the only reason why I lightly set here with my Milk Blur and Set in medium in my Beautylish and Chikuhodo holiday powder brush just on the concealed areas, because the concealer, and I could also apply too much because it happens, just to set it so it doesn't look as creamy or just looks a little more matte. Other than that, I don't find it necessary to actually set here because, again, when the way the foundation dries down, it's just beautifully soft matte and the powders glide across the skin. They don't catch, they don't look splotchy or patchy. It all looks skin-like when I apply my contour, my bronzer, and my blushes and my highlighter. So I had to just mention that foundation because we are in June, soon to be July. It's kind of insane how fast the days are going. I did recently do a collab with Michelle Wong. Hi, Michelle! We did a collab reviewing the Guerlain L'Essentiel foundation that, although I love as well, with watching a lot of Dr. Dray, love her, she is Derma Bay, with the whole fragrance thing just posing a threat to irritation and sensitivity, even though it doesn't manifest itself as an imposing irritant and something to become allergic to. I'm trying to use less and less fragrance in at least my complexion products, and as much as I love the Guerlain, I'm not using it as often just because of that. I'm still mentioning it in my favorites because, and I'm sorry I don't even have it, I'm such a bad YouTuber. She's in the bathroom resting. Here, you know what? Let me go get her. Hold on. Here she is. We have it in 45W. Now, I will say, although I like the Guerlain, I will say the NYX Cosmetics holds on to my powder products a lot better throughout the day. The Guerlain, because it is a natural finish in terms of how it sets, it does eat up my powder products a little more throughout the day, and I find that the saturation and the intensity of my products that started off at 100 when I first applied them in the morning doesn't really last as long when throughout the day. So that's why I had to give it to the NYX again and just mention it again in my June favorites, because I've been using this every day, especially since the weather has been changing. It's becoming hotter and more humid. Ideally, you won't wear foundation, or I won't wear foundation, maybe something lighter like a BB cream or a tinted moisturizer. But if I have to wear foundation for the summertime going forward, it will be this. That also brings me to mention Pat's new foundation. If Pat's foundation has fragrance in it, you guys, I'm not buying it. I refuse. I really hope she doesn't put fragrance in it. If she does, I'll at least grab a sample so I could review it for you. But I can't spend $68 on a product that I know I'm not going to use as much as my NYX just because of fear of irritating my skin in the long term. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's the plan. So cross your fingers, otherwise mama's not buying that foundation. Okay. Staying within the complexion realm of things, I've been super into sun care and sun protection as a makeup wearer, and of course the remedies just don't wear makeup, Alicia, but that's not gonna happen, I'm sorry. To reapply sunscreen throughout the day is quite challenging. There are different ways you can do it. You can spray it on, but unfortunately, because I know you guys are going to mention that Supergoop spray that's just dismal. The way it sprays is very spotty and not consistent in terms of like the full-on protection you need for the SPF whatever is labeled on the bottle to actually be that SPF for protection. So I thought from all the methods, and I know the brush is fun too, but the brush just mats me out too much and I just look super flat. So I opted for the Innisfree Aqua Fit Cushion Foundation. Actually, you're able to get your own compact, so you buy the actual cushion separately. You choose your own compact. It comes in a lot of different designs and colors, and you could also buy your own little sponge. So this is in the shade, I believe, golden. Are you freaking kidding me? The official name is the Aqua Fit Cushion W35 Golden Caramel. And here's a clip of me applying the foundation on top of makeup I already had throughout the day. It just melts into the skin so quickly and readily. I mean, I could show you on here now. I opted for this formula because it relies on octinoxate, titanium dioxide, and zinc oxide. The role of octinoxate is to help filter out the UVB rays. Those are the ones that burn. And the titanium and zinc is what helps to filter out the UVA rays. This has a little bit of fragrance, unfortunately, and of course, if there's ever a fragrance-free cushion that is out there, let me know down below. Out of Laneige and Amore Pacific, those cushions are perfumey, and I was like, no. I believe all together with the cushion and the compact and the puff, this little guy here maybe came to 30 bucks. I don't know where my receipt is. I'm like the worst. So here, the compact comes with its own mirror and I love the color. Here, why don't you come in a little closer? That's the wrong way. So let's say we wanted to apply this on makeup right now. I'll press it into the compact and then I pat down on the areas where my hyperpigmentation is most prevalent, which is right under my jawline, or on my jawline, I should say, like above it. Really what I'm supposed to do is apply this all over my face, but I'm being very selective as to where I'm applying the makeup because I'm primarily concerned with these guys getting darker. So that's why I'm just concentrating it on those areas. What I'm really supposed to be doing is applying this to my entire face. Here's the thing. Unfortunately, the amount of cushion makeup I would need to apply for it to actually be SPF 40 protection on my skin is far more than what I just applied. But it's something. I know it's not the official amount that needs to be on here, but I feel it does make a difference in the long run. I am trying to just be better about reapplying. And of course, you saw it's just so lightweight. You're going the wrong way again. Again, I had the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop, and here I just apply the Innisfree Aquafit. I love this formula. It's so lightweight, it doesn't look textured on the skin, and it looks pretty smooth, especially since I'm applying makeup on makeup. Another favorite I wanted to introduce is also from Innisfree. This is their matte mineral pressed setting powder. I feel like this is the cheaper version of the Fenty Beauty Invisa whatever matte powder. By the way, this is like my on-the-go sun protection kit that I bring with me to ensure that whatever I need to reapply is in that bag. So I have my reference number 5 in here, but I'm going to take my Sonia G Inoshige Pro and just lightly pat down on that area where I applied the Aqua Fit, just so it could set a little bit. They do have a matte version, but I didn't want the matte version since this area is still turning over quite a bit and it could get a little scabby, and I don't want the matte formula to grab onto those bits. Okay, now what happens if I need to reapply my bronzer, which again we will touch on later about what bronzer I have. But I gotta give a shout out this month to the Fenty Beauty Sun Stalk'r bronzer, because some people were expressing their disappointment about how lightweight it is. It's not very pigmented. I appreciate that, because when I need to apply a bronzer, I don't want it to look cakey and textured on the skin. So I take my Rephr number 5, I lightly tap, and this is in Island Ting, and I just go over the I go over the portions that I applied my Aqua Fit to, so it doesn't look blocked out and obvious. And look how easy that went on. I didn't have to brush or circle, but because the powder basically blends itself upon application, it makes it pretty foolproof to just reapply the bronzer and it still look lightweight on the skin. I do not see any texture here at all. I mean, again, I do have texture here because unfortunately with shaving my face, the little they're not ingrown hairs, but you do see my pores, so it's totally fine. Another favorite, that long-standing and Mel's recent favorite as well, is the Mel Cosmetics blush. This is in Honey Thief. Easy, lightweight if I need to reapply blush. This is like the perfect shade to bring along with you on heavy to go days, because it just kind of melts with whatever blush you apply that morning and kind of plays nice with those shades, because it's like neutral in tone, so it livens up the face. Again, if you apply your sunscreen and it became a little splotchy, you just put on Honey Thief and it's fine. All the same brush. And what I do, I have my little brush guard, make sure that if I have like a tissue or a paper towel, I wipe it and I put it back in my little sack of sun care emergency items. I have my Neogen in here too as well, because this is what I use to reapply on my chest and neck throughout the day, because this is like the bomb. And in go the Innisfree. There it is. So that has been my go-to sun care routine for daily reapplication. That was a little long-winded, but I wanted to share, especially if you're undergoing the same thing I was, figuring out what are the best makeup items, ingredients to reapply your sunscreen with. And I like the Aqua Fit formula because it doesn't have avobenzo in it, which can degrade faster in the presence of zinc oxide. And if you decide to reapply an actual sunscreen with zinc oxide in it, and if your base sunscreen or your makeup has avobenzo in it, the avobenzo is just going to degrade even faster than it would normally under the presence of light. That's why I was elated that it had zinc and titanium, and if I just wanted to slap on more zinc and titanium, it's not going to ruin those filters and make them degrade quickly. Got a little nerdy on you, yeah? Thanks to Dr. Dray, Derma Babe. And Lab Muffin Beauty Science. I love Michelle Wong too. I could listen to those chicks all day. Just nerd out on skincare all day. And also back to the Innisfree Cushion Compact. I find these fairly easy to clean, so you could make sure you clean this with my little soap that I usually use to clean my brushes with and my beauty sponge with. Just wipe this with an alcohol-based something to make sure that stays, nice and microbial free. Quick fire complexion products. I have to mention, I have been using my Hourglass translucent veil a lot this time around. I apply it on a damp beauty sponge and press it onto my skin to set my concealer. And for my concealer, I've been using the Fenty Beauty Instant Retouch a lot. I still love my Giorgio Armani Power Fabric. Don't get me wrong. I still use that foundation. That's not a foundation, Alicia. I still use that concealer as well. But as of recent, I just been picking these up because the Power Fabric is a little bigger, and I just find these to be a little more travel friendly. I mean, it's not by much, but I just love to travel with these. They're shorter. Ooh, well, God, they're shorter and I could stick it in if I wanted in my sun care to go bag, whereas I feel this one takes up a little more space. I have the shade 300 on today. I mix it between 310 for my under eyes, and here I just love how easy it is when applied with a beauty sponge. Again, this is the Sigma sponge, and when I put the powder on top, it doesn't look powdery or textured on my eyes at all. It just looks brightening, it looks soft, it looks diffused. My skin feels lightweight, and it just helps my mascara on the lower lashes from smudging throughout the day. That's why I found that it has been killer this month. I've been using that, and you know, for a while I've been using a brush to lightly tap powder under my eyes, but again, it's getting a little humid, it's getting a little hot, and I need that extra reinforcement. But this powder, the way it just blends into the skin is tremendously beautiful, and that's why I've been using that nonstop in June. In terms of what else is on my face, I have to give it to best palette of the month, the Becca and the Chloe and Malika BFF palette. The name is so obscurely long, I can never remember the official name, but that's what that is. This has been on sale for months. I'm late to the game, but when I saw that it was on sale at Sephora and Ulta and the Becca website altogether, I had to grab it because I think originally it was $44 and it was being sold for $26.50. Like, you can't beat it for a bronzer, 2 blushes, and a highlighter. Yeah. When I did my bronzer face palette roundup video, which I will link below and up above as well, I was leaning towards the Charlotte Tilbury. Do I even have it here? I was getting choosy between the two, and I was leaning towards Charlotte because her formula is immaculate for face products. Absolutely. The Lovegasm is somewhere behind me, but this is Lightgasm, which is not ideal for tan to deep skin tones. But if you are light to medium, I mean, this is foolproof. All the powders here look immaculate on the skin. But I discovered that when I applied it with my Sonia G Face Pro, the bronzer shade is just beautifully warm, and it just gives my face the most beautiful tan tone. And despite it not being as gelée pressed as the Charlotte Tilbury, these powders, I believe, are still like baked. They're not actual like traditional pressed powders. There's something going on here because of the dome shape, and when you put your brush on here, they don't puff out like traditional powders do. This is such a beautiful bronzer. And when I applied the blush shades with, again, my Sonia G Face Pro, I love the effect a lot better than when I applied it with a smaller brush in my roundup video. I just love the saturation on my cheeks. It just looked like that sun-kissed blush glow effect, and man, I was sold. That's when I changed my mind. I was like, I'm using the wrong brush. This is why I like the Charlotte more in that video. I like the Becca more. I like the Becca more because she's cheaper than the Charlotte, okay? And I went in with my Refer fan brush to apply the highlighter shade, and poof, this highlighter shade is just gorgeous. It's not too yellow, but not too light white gold. It's just perfect tone for my tan skin, and man, I've been really loving it. And it's so easy. I could just bring this with me and I'm good. I don't need another blush, especially if I'm trying to save space, because you know I still love my Cover of X blushes. These go everywhere if I can. If I have the room, I'll take them along with the ride as well. You'll be so proud of me, friends. I was hovering by the Cover of X display, almost got the cinnamon shade, almost got the suntan shade, and I was like, no, don't you dare. Why do you need those shades, Alicia? You already have Warm Honey and Pink Dahlia, which just look exquisite on you. You just got the Becca palette, which you saw, have experienced, seen for yourself, is beautiful on you. Don't get another bronzer, especially because with the highlighter shade that is coupled with it, I don't know how I'm going to use that freaking shade, man. I've already have just overloaded my collection in the last month, 2 months, with bronzer, blushes, and highlighters. So I didn't buy it. I didn't. Thought about it, but I didn't. Pink Dahlia and Warm Honey are by far my most favorite shades out of the whole monochromatic blush collection duos. I think these two together, sometimes I punch them together and put them on my cheeks, and it is so beautiful. These are my favorite, and I think I'm good. I had a moment of weakness, but I ignored it do not buy those blushes. As far as what else is on my face, a big shout out to one of our squad members. She was so kind in gifting me this palette as well as the eyeshadow palette. Now, I'm not sure what the drama is with Luminess. I just quickly scanned the comments under one of Trend Mood's posts, and people were going off about how Luminess is a pyramid scheming company. I had no idea. This was a gift. I'm talking about it because since it was gifted to me, I was using it and I quite like it. It is the Lion King, Surgeon, and Luminess collection. She was so nice to give me the contour palette and the eyeshadow palette. So I kept the boxes because I just can't get over this packaging. If you want a more extensive review on these two items, just let me know down below. I'll be more than happy to film it. This is the sculpting palette and it is named Kingdom, 6-piece sculpting palette. This retails for $42. It is pricey. I wouldn't run out to get it. It's not a must buy. This is if you were eyeing it or if you were gifted this palette and you didn't know how to use it. Well, let's talk about it. I believe this is Mufasa on the lid. It could be Mufasa or Simba. I don't know. Here are the shades, friends. So today I went in with Marula and I went in with my Sonergy Phase 1 brush. I mistakenly didn't record the first half of this application, so I went in a second time and I applied this contour powder twice on my cheekbones, and just look how beautifully lightweight it still appears on my skin. The tone of this contour shade is probably the most perfect shade of contour I ever encountered or applied for my face. The next one that I've been applying that I just had was my Makeup Forever Artist Color Sculpting Powder in S116. This is a little more gray toned. And although contouring its role in makeup is to create that shadow, to recede, to look more sculpting than just warm from bronze, the problem is we all don't look great in gray undertones, especially if we're brown. And to find a contour shade that was right in the middle of not necessarily neutral, so more neutral warm, was tough. And that's why we just bronze, because overall I just like to bronze anyway because I like the effect it has on my skin. But this color, oh my gosh, I freaking love it. I also applied that color on my crease to set up for the eye look that I have on today. But these shades are just amazing. The powders are really soft. They're so smooth. And I feel if you have this palette, maybe you're a makeup artist and you need to grab it, because if you want a palette with multiple shades in here for sculpting, you have it, man. I could use this on the bridge of my nose if I needed to, just a lighter contour shade. I freaking love this palette. I am so grateful to have received it as a gift. I can't thank her enough. And again, I've been using it nonstop. I love, again, Marula. The contour shade I never knew that I needed is in this palette. As far as complexion, I think those are all my greatest hits for the month. Now, as we move into eyes, gotta mention it, you know I have to mention her. The Natasha Denona Sunrise palette has quickly become one of my top 3 Natasha Denona palettes. First of all, the size of this freaking palette, I do hope she goes forward with when releasing other eyeshadow palettes, because it is just so conveniently compact and the price point is better. Her other 15 pan eyeshadow palettes retail for $129. And even though I dish out that type of money, I'm not supposed to. A lot of people just can't, or they just choose not to. This 15 pan eyeshadow palette retails for $65. I was gonna say 15, you know. No, they're 15 pans. It doesn't cost $15, Alicia. So small, but the mirror is edge to edge. It's just perfect for traveling. And these shades, these freaking shades, I've been using it nonstop alongside with, I gotta mention it, also gifted to me as I mentioned before, the Lion King, Surgeon, and Luminess eyeshadow palette. Can't wait to be queen. That's Nala when she goes to the bushes and she finds Simba when they're fully grown. I have this on my eyes today, and this reminds me of like a Tarte palette. Remember how the Tartelette and Bloom were designed. So the first eye look sorry I didn't get the demo of me applying these shades on, but I have African Clay and Pride Rock on my crease and outer corner, and then I applied Sire and I applied Zazu on the inner corner just to give it that blue wash reflect on the inner third. Sire, it is so pretty. Now, keep in mind, these shimmers or metallics, however you want to call them, they have grit to them. And I find that if you overload your brush and don't tap it off, you are going to get fallout on your face. These are the type of shades that you really need to work into the skin so you get those particles to bind and adhere. This shade you could wear on your lid and it would not come out as just too much. It is a warm, almost maroon like purple. I have it under my lash line here. Gorgeous shade. And then today, what I did for this eye look in combination with Sunrise, I applied the Marula shade from the contour palette on my crease. Then I went in with Clove from Sunrise. Then I went in with Pride Rock on the outer and inner thirds of my lids. Followed up with, this Nala. This shade I have on my lids. The camera doesn't do it justice. When you see how beautifully it spreads, what is wrong with these eyebrows? Excuse me. When you see how it spreads on the lid, there's like a twinkle effect that's just beautifully scattered across the lid and crease. And again, these textures, you gotta have to work them into the skin. You just can't pat them down. You gotta use a wet brush, which is what I did. I've been using my Sigma E55. Really love this little packing brush. I've been mighty successful with it this month. If you wet the brush, pack on the pigment, it's fine. I don't have any trouble with it at all. Mufasa, this freaking shade. Are you kidding me? Ugh, I love this all over the lid. It's so beautifully deep and bronzy. Now keep in mind, these are nothing like Natasha Denona's metallic formula. You can't zhuzh this around like Natasha's and not get fallout on your face, unfortunately. I would primarily use these metallics and shimmers. I think these are metallics because the shimmers here are the more low-key ones on the bottom row, which we'll get to in a minute. You can't zhuzh these around like a Natasha metallic or even a Pat McGrath metallic. These are suitable for packing color on the center of the lid, on the inner third, or just along the entire lower lash line. I think those are how these are best applied, especially considering the texture. Simba is more of like a satin, an actual satin shade. It doesn't have the same grit as the metallic shade, so this is what you can use on the lid, inner corner, lower lash line. Landscape is a beautiful satin shade. Oh, that's not Landscape. That you can use on the brow bone. It's a beautiful satin shade. I'm sorry I didn't show you Meadows. Meadows is the only shade in this palette I didn't use, along with Safari Khaki. Khaki. So this is Meadows. I mean, it's gorgeous. Definitely one of the smoother textures from the top row. A Safari Khaki will be like your typical transition shade. We could have used a deeper eyeshadow shade for deeper skin tones in terms of getting another transition shade that was more appropriate for that purpose, or even just a deeper shade for creating depth. The overall color story though, I really love the tones in here. I love that you have the brights at the top and the more neutrals on the bottom. I'll be using that nonstop. Love these two. I could use these interchangeably. I could bring these with me and they're not going to take up a lot of space. And I have so much to deal with between these two in terms of creating beautiful looks. So I'm really happy about that. I gotta give the honorable mention to Dominique Cosmetics Rustic Glam. I do like, I know, shame on me, I do like the Lion King palette better because it's tough to travel with this. This is a little more clunky in terms of travel. I do love the shades though. I definitely will continue using this palette. I'm glad that I bought it. I have a multi-look video here on my channel as well as a review if we will get into that. I just don't like how dusty they are. They're super dusty and the Lion King palette is not. Those shadows are harder pressed and I feel just better overall in terms of the powder not getting everywhere. These, they get everywhere. Again, love rustic glam. But out of the eyeshadow palettes that I've been heavily delving into this June, Sunrise is on top for me, for sure. That is my most favorite eyeshadow palette I've been using, followed by the Lion King Surgeon Luminess palette, and then the Dominique Cosmetics Rustic Glam. What else? Oh, I wanted to quickly give a shout out to Persona Cosmetics. They are so kind in sending me their newest addition to their glosses. They do have a liquid matte as well. I had it in my stories. It was like this color, but it was a liquid matte fiery orange red shade. Gorgeous. The new shades are in coral and pink. Now my standout favorites that I've been wearing, hold on, let me get this straight. These are the new shades, and the standout favorites that I've been wearing every day are Honey and Peach. I have Honey on right now on top of a new nude from the drugstore, might I add. Milani Cosmetics I Am Pretty bold matte lipstick in number 5. I thought this was a very pretty nude, and when I applied it here, it's a matte, so it doesn't feel overly drying though. I think it has a very nice velvety texture. I love the tone of it on my lips. I decided on the clip that I apply the little bit of the Persona Cosmetics pink gloss coupled with the honey gloss on the outer edges, and I absolutely love the tone of my lip look here. Now, I wanted to get the Milani Cosmetics to present to you a more inexpensive alternative to a nude, because I thought this was pretty good for $8, and I think it really nice without gloss too. The texture and the tone of that nude is really pretty. It's not too peach, but not too pink either. It's like a pinky beige on the cooler side, which I prefer with nudes. Here I apply the Persona Cosmetics lip gloss in coral, and I just have a photo of it. I love the tone of this gloss. I didn't think I was gonna like a red tone gloss, but it just gave my lips a beautiful flush of color. Here, I can quickly show you now. You could layer this on anything. It's just so pretty. Like, look how that just livened up the lip. I know it doesn't go crazily as well than Honey with this eye look, but if I were doing like a no makeup summer looking day that I didn't have any eyeshadow on, I didn't have anything else on except my bronzer, blush, highlight, and then the lip, I think this looks rather quite nice. It's so pretty. I lied. It looks great with the look. I just had to zhuzh it up a little bit. I got a little overboard. This is not sponsored by Persona. They were so kind to send me this in PR. I've been using these non-stop. I love the texture of the gloss. I think they're lightweight. They're moisturizing. They have great texture. They don't feel overly sticky. They're not doing too much. They're just doing it just right. Last favorite I need to present. I have been searching for a nail polish that will replace my KL polish in Tropicana. What shade do I have in my nails now, do you ask? Well, I happened to stroll into CO Bigelow, and there on that display, I saw this. This is the Nails Inc. Living Your Best Life, that is the name of the shade, in their cream formula. Dare I say, the Nails Inc. looks brighter in color, don't you think, than the KL polish. Now, I wanted to replace Tropicana because, unfortunately, it was getting a little goops on me. It was getting a little goops, and I know I could apply thinner, but I felt that the thinner would just make the nail polish chip faster. And I'm not a fan of this brush. None of the KL polish brushes, actually. They drive me nuts. They're short with the curved edge, but because they're a little wider, it makes it really tough to polish and avoid my cuticles on my very tiny nail beds. The Nails Inc. brush, however, is a little thinner. It still has that curved edge, and I feel it a lot easier to get the polish on successfully without the mess. Now, I will say, unfortunately, it's not an unfortunate thing, but if you don't like painting your nails, you will have to do this with Living Your Best Life. I did have to apply 3 coats. That was one thing with Tropicana. You only had to apply 2 coats of that polish, and you were opaque. You were opaquely yellow. I have to do 3 coats, but I'm fine with it because this color payoff is worth the effort. I get so many compliments on this shade. It is like the best freaking yellow, because you know you have yellows that are too orange or you have yellows that are too pastel. No. This is like just right. I love this shade. It is so pretty. I love this shade. I am so happy that I found my nail polish. Another one that is definitely worth mentioning that I actually wore in my other videos. I got this in an Ipsy bag, and I really like anything that comes in my Ipsy bag. This is the Dear Sunday's number 13 nail polish. The red nails that I had in my previous videos, this is the color I had on. Love this polish. Dare I say, it reminds me of an Essie brush. It's very thin. It has the standard flat edge, but the color goes on so smoothly. Very easy to polish with a Dear Sunday color. I'm actually going to get maybe 2 more. There's like this cobalt deep blue they have in their collection, a beautiful pastel. I am digging this color. So these have been my standout favorites for June. Dear Sunday number 13, Living Your Best Life from Nails Inc. Love these shades. I'm gonna wear them nonstop this summer. Oh, you have no idea. I just realized that I didn't mention my Marc Jacobs as a favorite. I try not to because I don't want to overload this video with expensive favorites, but I do love it. And that's all. That is it for all my makeup favorites. I hope you enjoyed this video or you found it helpful in trying to decide any makeup purchases you were thinking about going forward with, or maybe you have any of these products and you're figuring out how to use them. Let me know what your favorites have been for June, and until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And until then, I'll see you on here again with another favorites tutorial multi-look video review. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. And the way this foundation drives on my actual cheekbone, boing 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 boing, man, it's set. The Persona has the